Friday the 24th of February. Welcome to Afternoon Sport. Shad Wicka here, joined as always by Shane Lee. How we doing, Shane-o?
Mate, I'm not very happy. It's we're now videoing our podcast. I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do hair and makeup, mate. It's not good.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've got to tell you, fire your makeup artist, mate, because having a look here, it's not doing any wonders. Hey, we've got a bit to get into today, Shano. I mean, the Roosters' salary sombrero has come back into full swing this week, I feel. We're going to talk that in the NRL. Cricket, men's and women's, lots to talk about. And the BBC says goodbye to one of the great voices in sport. So let's just get straight into it.
Afternoon Sport.
Let's kick things off with a positive. Let's talk the T20 World Cup title defence from the limit at the moment. Now, Shano, we're looking pretty good. We're in a good spot. But what's the key to Australia being in such a great position at the T20?
Well, the key is we're in the final now, beating India by only 5 runs. By the way, Australia scored 4 for 172, defeating India 8 for 167. The key is going to be our depth. And if you look at the stats. Well, stats in the semi-final, Mooney scored 54, landing 49 not out. Ash Gardner, who's the $500,000 girl now in the women's IPL, she scored 31 runs and took 2 for 37. But our depth, mate, if you go throughout the series, Ash Gardner took 5 for 12 early in the series. Georgia Wareham, 3 for 20 versus Sri Lanka after being out of the team for 16 months. You got Elisa Healy, who scored in 3 innings. She scored 2 50s. The young Grace Harris took 2 for 7, her best figures. And you got Taylor McGrath, who chipped in with 57. So our depth is going to be our key.
Yeah, it seems like we can get runs or get wickets from anywhere in the lineup, which is pretty exciting. Let's just, before we move on to the Australian men's side, let's quickly talk about some other nations that were in a bit of a battle. England smashing poor Pakistan to secure top spot.
Yeah, they are, and they take on South Africa in the other women's semi-final. It's going to be an Australia-England final. The English girls now have scored 200 plus 2 games in a row. And our Aussie girls are not scoring that many runs. It's Nat Sciver-Brunts. Now, I'm not using rhyming slang there.
Right.
It'd be a good one to call someone a scriber. But
Oh, wow.
Maybe a good sledge. But Nat Sciver-Brunts scored. She scored 50 or 81 not out in 49 balls. Her sister chipped in. There's two Scrivers in this team. She scored.
Well, some would say it was a full team of Sciver-Brunts.
She took 2 for 14 off her 4 overs.
Jeez.
And they just smashed Pakistan all out for 99.
England are also undefeated through this T20 tournament, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they had a little hiccup early, but they finished top of the competition now. They look good. It's going to be one hell of a girls' grand final.
Yeah, right. Now let's have a look at the men's side at the moment. Obviously, just disappointment after disappointment in India, but they have named a 16-player squad for the ODI series, and a few names returned from injury.
Yeah, it's a bit of a theme going on with this Aussie team at the moment. Let's pick everyone who's been injured. Fly them over. Glenn Maxwell broke his leg. Well, he's back in the team. Mitch Marsh is coming off an ankle injury. He's back in the team. Jai Richardson's done his hamstring. He's back in the team. Warner's gone home. He's with a broken elbow, and he's going to be picked back in the team.
What?
But apart from that, everyone else is fit. Sean Abbott, Ashton Agar will come and hopefully play a game in the one-day series. He's been over there in the test team, not playing much. Carey, Labuschagne, Smith, the usuals. Stark, Stoinis, Zampa, Cummins and Head make up the 16-man squad.
Wait, did you say Warner is getting picked, or are you taking the piss? Because that is insane.
No,
really?
he is.
I thought his elbow's completely gone.
His elbow's gone. He's been smacked in the back of the head. So they're going to fly him home for a few days and bring him back for the one-day tournament, which is, I find, just ridiculous.
That's insane. And lastly on cricket, Cam Bancroft, 4th Sheffield Shield century for the summer.
Yeah, looking good. One guy who's scoring a lot of runs, so the next best is only 2 centuries this summer. He's already got 767 Shield runs, which passed Peter Hanscom, who's been flown over and actually batted quite well in one of the tests over there in India. But look, he scored 176 his last match versus Tasmania, so you would think he might be smoking out for the Ashes tour.
Yeah, well, that'd be handy. I mean, obviously, there's going to be some spots up for grabs, I feel, after what's happened in India. So let's have a look at tennis. This will be an interesting one. I feel like the optics on this aren't the best. But world number 3 in the women's draw, Jessica Pegula, she had a great run at the Australian Open. But one of the big stories that came out of her run at the Open was people realised her father is one of the owners of the Buffalo Bills franchise in the NFL, the daughter of a billionaire. She's come out demanding equal pay for the WTA and ATP tours. It looks wrong when they write billionaire in front, doesn't it?
Well, she's standing up for the girls, and I had to do some research on this because I thought it was equal pay all over the tennis world circuit for both men and women. It isn't. In Grand Slams, women and men get equal pay, but the ATP, which is the guys, they get 75% more than the WTA, which is a big disparity there. But yeah, would she be one hell of a catch? She's a good sort tennis player. Her dad's a billionaire. And owns a footy team. Owns the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, man, and the Bills are going pretty good at the moment as well. It's a fascinating one, isn't it? Because you kind of, on the surface, when you look at Grand Slams, you go, oh, tennis is one of the most pay equal sports in the world. But actually, there is a big gap between the ATP and WTA. I mean, obviously, the argument then comes into play, which is, how many people are coming to WTAs versus ATPs?
Yep.
How many of the WTA tournaments are getting televised as much as the ATPs? And then whose responsibility is that? It's such a murky water when it comes to pay equality in men's versus women's sports. But if there is a sport that can get it even based on those questions, it would be tennis, because the women's draw of tennis is so popular that the arguments that people would put forward for things like AFLW in Australia or NRLW, or even in some cases of football, the argument wouldn't stand up in tennis, because a lot of people do come to those tournaments and watch those matches. So
and maybe she'd ask Daddy to top it up.
Well, actually, not a bad idea. If he could actually just buy half of the WTA draw, then maybe he could get into it.
There you go.
And before we take a quick break, the BBC says goodbye to the voice of football.
Yeah, very sad. John Watson, aged 77, passed away after 50 years. 50 years on the mic. He was very well known for his sheepskin coat. Apparently when he turned it inside out, it looked like a massive tampon. He was sorely missed.
Let's have a look at AFL to kick things off here, Shano. Now, look, I'll admit, you're the sports person. I've only played a handful of rugby league games when I was younger. All right, but 8-man leadership group in an AFL side, is that normal, or is that kind of weird?
Well, you know what? It seemed weird to me straight away when I read it, but I know the Swans pretty well, and they have one of the strongest cultures over there, the Bloods, and John Longmire is a pretty good judge. But yeah, it seems a big leadership group. He's obviously trying to bring and make everyone feel like they're really part of this. So he brings into the leadership group. So the current captains are Callum Mills, Luke Parker, Dane Rampy. So he's brought in now Isaac Heaney, Will Haywood and Jake Lloyd, and 2 others just to bolster that leadership group. But he's trying to bring on the next round of potential captains.
Right. And now, so if you've got 8 people in your leadership group, how many people do you have on the field at once? What is it? It's like
18.
18 on field?
Yep.
So you're almost at half of your squad as the leadership group. Is that where we're starting to go here with the Swans?
Wouldn't it be really tough to pick where you go for your team dinner? Like, who makes that decision? Is that by committee as well?
That is just, I feel like it just sounds like too many. It's like, you know what I mean? I don't think you have to name senior players in the leadership. I don't know. Whatever. Look, let's go to NRL, which is another more ridiculous one as well. The Roosters, we always say the salary sombrero, they've always got to make this money. The Dom Young story, which weirdly isn't entirely confirmed, which is crazy. Like, obviously, we all know that he's going to the Roosters.
Yep.
And, that's not going to be a cheap contract that they're signing Dom Young to come over to the Tricolours. Now the story is that, and there's mixed reports here, whether it was the Roosters that started this conversation or the Knights, about trying to get Dom Young to move over to the Roosters ahead of round 1 next week.
That's the word. And Andrew Voss has come out and said if he was Newcastle Knights management team, he would have told him to go fuck himself, basically. Go away and stop trying to poach my player. But the rumours are saying that there's going to be a massive transfer fee here.
Yeah.
And do the Knights really need this money? Maybe they're really struggling from a cash perspective.
I think they do. I would tell you that I think they do, because you got to think the ownership carousel of the Knights over the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
You know, they got bought, and then they had to that changed that. Then the club was bought back by the fans at some point, or something like that. Like there was a lot of that murky waters. I wouldn't be surprised if they do need the money, and at the same time, why do you want? He's a gun player, Dom Young. We know he's really good. We know that when he goes to the Roosters, it's going to be an unbelievable weapon. Daniel Tupou's the odd one out, by the way, so no doubt the Roosters have probably tried to ship him off to Newcastle, and they've probably said no. But you'd take, do you want a player in your dressing room, especially one that's so unconvincing as the Knights locker room at the moment? Do you want a guy that's got 1 foot out the door?
No, probably not. But I think where the weak point is here for the Knights, as you said, they do need cash, I think. The other thing is I think they need a back rower, so they'll look to swap a player as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a weird one for the Knights.
Yeah.
I also love the story that they said that apparently Hastings really got into Ponga saying you better win the Dally M this year. There's a bit of attitude coming from the new signings to the Knights being like, you know, it's time for people to pull their finger out at this club. So maybe that's also in theme with it. It's like, well, we're not going to have someone in here if we're trying to change culture. But then at the same time that the Roosters are signing this gun winger to their team and trying to move him over to their club early with a possible big transfer fee, they also signed Victor Radley to a long-term deal.
Well, I thought Radley was going to be under a real problems with the Roosters, just the way they call him Victor the Inflictor, and he muscles up, but he keeps getting sent off in crucial moments. I'm sure that both the coach and Polias have stayed down and said, mate, you need to pull your head in a bit here. But at age 24, when he plays well, he does make a big difference to that side. And he's signed him for 4 more years. And apparently his manager, Sam Ayub, has gone to Nick and said he wants to be a Rooster for life, and Nick likes that, so he signed him for 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's one game off 100 games. He's actually one of the rare, I mean, I say it's rare, it's not that rare, but it feels like it. One of those rare juniors that comes through the Roosters system.
Yeah.
Because, you always hear the stories of them buying people, Teddy and, but he's come through the Roosters system. So it is a big win for them. But I'm just confused about money. Because, he would have demanded a lot of money on the open market if he had decided to go there. I feel like, I don't know, it's just another one of those cases where you're like, okay, how much is Dom Young costing him? $400,000 a year, $500,000 a year? What is it, Yeah.
I
don't know. I feel like I'd love to see the list of salary cap usage over the next couple of seasons when they do that report again.
There could be a few little top-up bonuses outside the contract, I reckon.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a couple of little paper bags getting dropped off at people's houses again. Quick one in boxing before we go. Tszyu has been labelled a gold-digging ex-girlfriend by Michael Zarafa.
I love this sledge. And we all know that Tszyu has been wanting to fight this guy, and the guy pulled out the 11th hour. And now he's basically saying, shut up. You're like an ex-girlfriend, a gold-digging ex-girlfriend, just wanting a bout, right? And he said this. I just think this is great smack talk. Yeah,
that's unreal. I mean, Tszyu's not known for his smack talk either, so it's nice to hear any kind of rivalry he's got where some people are sledging at the moment. Tszyu said he'll never fight Zarafa after that whole debacle of a fight last time. And Zarafa's also up against it because I think Fox Sports and stuff don't want anything to do with him either because he's too unreliable of to actually get into the fight. So do you reckon you'll ever see these two fight?
Oh, 100%. I think if Zarafa agrees to it, don't forget, Tszyu's managed by the No Limits boys, George Rose and the guys over there, and they know what this would be worth to them and to the purse, so they're really, really pushing for it.
Yeah, interesting. And staying on boxing as well, a doping case was thrown out due to a very strange reason.
So his name's Conor Benn, and he's been cleared of any doping charges because there were traces of clomiphene found in his system, which apparently boosts your testosterone levels. But he said it was due to eating too many eggs.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure Rocky never had that problem, drinking all them eggs. I don't think he ever got done for doping.
Sorry.
You know what I love about that story though? That Conor Benn, that story came out that he's been cleared of the doping. And then Domino's put out a post, which was a photo of their pizza with a whole bunch of eggs on top of it. Just saying, this is the new Conor Benn special. And then Conor Benn replied, and good on him for getting back into it. And he was like, I prefer Pizza Hut anyway. I'm like, hey, hello.
Nice
bit
work.
of banter.
There was a great cartoon too of an egg with a syringe in it, saying it's got a bad egg.
That is so bullshit, eh?
Yeah.
That is one of the worst excuses I've ever heard.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for Afternoon Sport for today. So make sure you hit follow, subscribe wherever you listen. Before we go, though, of course, thank you to our sponsors.
Yeah, fantastic sponsors, Barclay Pierce Capital. They're only a phone call away.
And, of course, Dan McHugh, who has been putting it all together, the producer behind it all. We'll be back Monday with your daily dose of sport.
We'll see you then, guys. Take care.